don't know. I don't know what to say about EA Star Wars anymore because it's a running joke. How many games have they canceled? How many resources? How much resource have they spent on Star Wars games that eventually never saw the light of day? Right. This is ridiculous. How many Star Wars games have we had since the beginning? This is 2020. They got the license in 2012, right? So they still have 2 years to go. In 8 years, they released 3 games, if I'm correct, right? So we had the first Battlefront remake, which was a disaster. We had Battlefront 2, which is better now, but originally was a disaster as well. And we have Jedi Fallen Order, which is a decent game, but it's a little bit boring. So the Helmet Head says EA needs to lose its Star Wars license. Absolutely, absolutely. This is a no-brainer. I mean, they have absolutely no idea about what to do with it, and this article is going to confirm. So we're gonna read it together here. It's not very long, as you're gonna see. So we're gonna go through it together, and we're going to comment it as it goes, right? So here it says, last spring, Electronic Arts canceled a planned spin-off of its popular Star Wars Battlefront series, the third Star Wars game that the publisher has axed since 2017. This latest game, called Viking, was originally envisioned for release in fall 2020 alongside the next generation of consoles, but once it became clear to EA's executive that the timeline was unrealistic, Viking was no more. So this is already, yeah, exactly right. EA is great. And this is what I don't understand. Why don't you release the game on PC? Why don't you make it a PC exclusive game? Is that really so hard to do? You can still make a lot of money by releasing the game on PC only. Why not doing that? That's because they want to get all the money from all the consoles, and they know that if it's for PS4 and the PS5 is out, then they're not going to sell a game for the PS4 because people are going to want to have the game. People are going to want to have games for the PS5. It doesn't matter. Just release the game for PC because PC is always superior to console, and PC gamers are more dedicated to console gamers. So just release the game on PC. Why can't they understand that? This account is based on interviews with 6 people familiar with EA's inner working, all of whom spoke anonymously, of course, because they were not authorized to speak to a reporter about canceled projects. Well, duh, right? The backstory of Viking is itself worthy of a Star Wars scroll intro. It started off you're gonna have to enjoy this, guys, because I was when I read that, I couldn't get my head around it when I read that. The backstory of Viking is itself worthy of a Star Wars scroll intro scroll. It started off a long time ago, 2015, in a galaxy far away, San Francisco. Good writing here, Jason Schreier. I like that. At the EA-owned studio Visceral Games. Any idea here, guys, about Visceral Games? Remember, right? Which spent 2 years developing a Star Wars haste game called Ragtag under the well-known director of Henny Hanig. So this game that was canceled was the game that was originally canceled from Henny Hanig. That was supposed to be the game about smugglers, right? Project Ragtag. So Project Ragtag gets canceled because they say, oh, we're not going to make enough money. This is a single-player game, right? They didn't know how to monetize it. In the end, it turns out that Jedi Fallen Order, which has no DLCs, is one of the best games that they ever sold this year. So this is proving that their whole rhetoric is complete nonsense. And so this game, they spent so much money developing this game. Eventually, they wanted to make it a more multiplayer game type of Battlefront spin-off, and it ends up being canceled a second time, which is so stupid. So you know what? In the end, I'm really wondering, guys. I'm really wondering if actually EA lost money with Star Wars. It's actually a possibility, and this could also explain why they are so scared of releasing an actual Star Wars game, and they really want to make sure that they're going to maximize their profits as much as possible, because first they had to purchase the right for 10 years, and then it costs a lot of money because Star Wars fans, Star Wars fans want to have the best possible looking game possible and the best game possible. This is also very expensive. and then they keep on canceling these games. So I really wonder, this is a question that we should have, that we should also ask ourselves. Has EA lost money with their Star Wars games? I don't know, but I have a feeling that this could also explain why they are so afraid of making new Star Wars games. In October 2017, EA shut down Visceral and canceled Ragtag, although it said that Ragtag's art assets would be shipped to the Canadian game studio EA Vancouver for a brand new open world Star Wars games, which we're going to talk about right here. That second game, Orca, was in development all throughout 2018 until it too was canceled by EA. So actually, that Battlefront spin-off is a canceled game from a canceled game of a canceled game. This doesn't make any sense. So the second game, Orca, was in development. So Kotaku broke the news of Orca's cancellation last year. At the time, we reported that EA Vancouver was spinning up a smaller Star Wars project to replace it, one that will be planned for release in fall 2020 alongside the next generation of Xbox and PlayStation. Electronic Arts executives liked to call it a financial hole that needed filling. See, that's all about money. That's exactly what I was saying, guys. That's exactly what I was saying. They're basic because, and it's not Star Wars' fault, guys. It's not Star Wars' fault. It's not their fault. It is entirely the fault of the executives of Electronic Arts because they are not Star Wars. They bought this franchise. They had no idea about what to do with it because they are not Star Wars fans, and they basically don't know what to do with it now because they have no idea about what the fans want. They have no idea about the fans want, and when developers try to do things that the fans want, there's basically the executive at EA said, "No, this is not gonna work." And the only project that eventually got a green light is proving them wrong. Yeah, that's right, Philippe. That's right. EA wasn't going to make Fallen Order originally, and trust me, the DLC is on the way for it. It means, it is EA after all. Well, you think, Philippe Lemon, I don't understand what kind of DLC would be there for Jedi Fallen Order, because the end is, it ends, right? Sure, we could expand the story with extra missions, right? Or Jedi Fallen Order 2. That's true, but I would not understand what kind of DLC there would be here for Jedi Fallen Order. And quite frankly, I would not be interested because it's a game that I enjoyed playing, but at the same time, the game is quite repetitive in its game mechanics, and I found that finishing Jedi Fallen Order was quite difficult because of I'm gonna have to jump again, I'm gonna have to climb again. It's this series of jumps and climbing and jump and climbing, and it got boring. That's just my opinion, of course, right? Oh well, the third game, which is the one that we're talking about here, the third game was called Viking, and it was designed as a spin-off of the Star Wars Battlefront series with open world elements. Man, this would have been so awesome. The plan was also for EA to bring in yet another studio to help out, Criterion. Criterion, famous for their destructible environments, by the way, based in London, England, which was previously best known for racing games like Burnout and Need for Speed, but had in recent years expanded into other genres. They will. So you guys are sure that we're gonna have DLCs for Jedi Fallen Order? I don't think so. I think that they're just gonna let Jedi Fallen Order die off until eventually we have another one. But I don't know. I could be wrong, right? EA Vancouver spent some time designing IDs and prototypes for Viking, and Criterion came aboard soon afterwards. That was when the problem started. Although Criterion was on paper the lead studio, the logistical challenges of cross-country game development made that game a difficult proposition. So the challenges of cross-country game development. Well, CIG is doing that all the time. Actually, we know that it's difficult since CIG is doing it. So EA here is not even accepting the fact that they have studios in multiple countries. Interesting for the future of our favorite title, of course. As one person involved in the game said, too many cooks was a running theme. Criterion leads had an ambitious vision of the game, aiming to put a strong focus on story and characters. It soon became clear that Viking would never be finished in just a year and a half, and EA's executive had no interest in extending the timeline. See, this is always the same thing. They want games to be, and that's why EA is a cancer for the video game industry. EA always wants to chain. They want to mass produce these games, like in a chain. Boom, 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 one game, one game, one game. This is not how video game development works, EA. But I guess that the shareholders don't care about that, right? And so Viking was canceled in the first half of 2019. Although this news has gone unreported until now, that fall 2020 financial haul will go unfilled. Very sad. So Criterion has now taken back to the Need for Speed series, and EA Vancouver is supporting other EA studio like BioWare and Respawn on games like Anthem. So I guess that we're not gonna have any Star Wars game coming up, or at least announced, right? Because what is being announced? We don't have a Battlefront 3. We don't have any Starship games. We don't have any. Let's not even think about strategy games, right? We used to have in the past. No, we're still stuck with that 8-year-old. It's going to be 8-year-old. We're going to be stuck with that 8-year-old, the Old Republic, which is not even canon anymore. I mean, why would anybody? That's why I don't even play the Old Republic. It's not canon, so that's not even interesting. I'm not interested in playing a Legends game. I want to play canon games. So in May of 2013, Electronic Arts signed an exclusivity agreement with Disney. Biggest mistake ever here from Disney for core video games, in other words, the ones on console and PC, that has led to a turbulent, fairly disappointing decade for Star Wars game. Fairly here, Jason Schreier is a euphemism, a very disappointing decade, in my opinion. I miss the years of LucasArts so much. Not the end of LucasArts, of course. Right, give Rock Squadron, give an X-Wing game. I would die to have an X-Wing game. But it should. There's been so many space games recently. The X series, Elite Dangerous, even No Man's Sky. Why can't we have a Star Wars equivalent? This is also something that I can't understand. I can't understand. And people say, "Oh, but they would have to create." No, just buy the engine, just buy the mechanism, buy it from CIG, buy it from Frontier. I don't care. Just make us a space Star Wars game. But no, they just don't have the creativity, the will, the drive, or maybe they're not fans. Probably that. Today, EA has 2 new Star Wars games in development. Oh yeah, which one, right? A sequel to Fallen Jedi Order, right? And a smaller, more unusual product at EA Motive in Montreal, Canada, that we don't know about, that is probably going to get cancelled again. Just my opinion, of course, but it's probably going to follow that trend that we have been seeing with Electronic Arts Star Wars games for quite some time. And that's all for this video again, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for all of your support on Patreon, on the join button. Your support means a lot to me, guys. And also thank you to everybody who subscribed to this channel and hit that like button. This is also helping this channel grow a lot. I'll see you guys for more videos, especially Star Citizen videos. I know that this is what you guys are waiting for, right? And more of them are gonna come very soon. Don't worry about it. I guess I'll see you guys. I'll see you guys tomorrow. This is the Eradicator. I'm signing out.